How many times have you spent weeks, even months, crafting the perfect course, only to watch your students disappear after a couple of weeks? They start strong, maybe finish a module or two, and then radio silence. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Here's the good news. The problem isn't necessarily with your content. In fact, your content might be top-notch. The missing link is something way more human: community. Stick around, because we're talking real-world strategies that can transform your course and your students' experience from passive learning into a thriving, connected journey. Let's get into it.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Community Lab, where passion intertwines with purpose and profit. We're not merely weaving tales of hobbies becoming side gigs here. We're about crafting endeavors that deeply resonate and reward. Whether you're creating courses, guiding lives, or kickstarting a podcast journey, let's elevate together from being zealous dreamers to standout community leaders. Explore the balance between passion and profitability as we unwrap the tools and tactics we use to create, maintain, and grow our own profitable community. So, what's our pledge to you? To guide you from mere daydreaming to creating a vision that's both successful and meaningful, fostering authentic ties and a close-knit community. If you're fueled by passion, eyeing a new prosperous path, and curious about making community a pillar of your success, the Community Lab awaits. Join us and let's turn those visions into profitable ventures.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to the Community Lab podcast. I'm your host, Rachel. Today, we're diving into how you can turn your course into a vibrant, engaged community that not only keeps students from dropping off, but keeps them coming back week after week. So let's dive right into it. Why do students drop off in the first place? I know you've experienced this. You put your heart and soul into your course. You launch it. People sign up with excitement. But somewhere between Module 2 and Module 4, participation plummets. The issue? Your students feel isolated. They're consuming your content alone and without a sense of accountability or connection to others. It's easy to let life get in the way. Before you know it, the excitement fades and they ghost your course. Here's a few facts. 70% of students drop off before completing online courses. That's because content alone doesn't hold people's attention for long. What they need is a community, a space where they can connect with you and with their peers. This is where learning stops being a solo activity and becomes an engaging social experience. Learning in isolation is one of the biggest drivers of disengagement. When students are going through the course materials alone, without interaction or collaboration, it's easy for them to lose focus and motivation. And it's not just about the content being difficult. It's about the lack of accountability and peer support. Without someone to check in with or share progress, it's all too easy for students to fall behind, get overwhelmed, and eventually give up. But when you introduce a community into the mix, everything changes. Communities provide that essential sense of belonging. Students feel like they're part of something bigger. Let's break it down into 3 key elements: engagement, participation, and ownership. These are the pillars of a successful community that keeps people coming back. First up, engagement. Your community has to be a place where people want to hang out. It can't just be a dead forum that's filled with posts but no interaction. Think about what will get people to show up and actively participate. Will it be group challenges, weekly discussions, live events? These kinds of activities give members something to look forward to, and most importantly, a reason to log in regularly. Next, let's talk about participation. This one's big because it's not enough for you, the course creator, to be the only voice in the room. You want your students to own the space too. Give them chances to lead discussions, share their progress, ask questions, and even help each other out. When students actively participate, they feel like they truly belong in the community. And that sense of belonging is what keeps the energy alive. And finally, ownership. When students feel like they have a stake in the community, they're far more likely to stick around. You can do this by giving them roles, whether it's hosting events, running challenges, or moderating discussions. The more they feel like the community is theirs, the more invested they'll be in its success. It's not just your community anymore, it's theirs too. These three elements, engagement, participation, and ownerships, are the core of any thriving community. Write that down, friends, because it's so important. When you build these into your course's community, you're creating a space where students feel connected, motivated, and excited to keep coming back. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Rach, this sounds great, but how do I actually make this happen without spending all day in my community? Well, I've got some simple strategies you can start implementing today. But before we dive into those, a quick word about my go to community building tool, Circle.
I'm sure you've already heard me mention a time or two how much I love Circle for building my online community. If you're a fellow podcast host or digital creator looking to elevate your online community, look no further because Circle is endgame. It revolutionizes the way you connect and engage with your audience. Circle offers an intuitive platform that brings together your content, conversations, and community all in one place. It's your one-stop shop for building a vibrant, interactive community that's uniquely yours. Whether you're a podcast host, course creator, or coach, Circle empowers you to create a space that's as dynamic and engaging as your content. Customized to your heart's content, from private spaces to integrative live streams, making your community both exclusive and inclusive. Transform your audience into a thriving community with Circle. Watch your engagement soar, your relationships deepen, and your brand grow. It's more than a platform. It's a community builder's dream. So, are you ready to bring your community together? Visit circle.so or the link in the show notes and start your free trial today.
All right, let's get into the actionable steps. I know you're eager to turn your course into a community, so I'm going to walk you through a 5-step strategy you can start using right now. Okay, step 1. It all starts before your course even begins. You want to start generating excitement around your community element early on. This could mean sending out emails or posting on your social media, letting people know how important community will be in your course. Build that anticipation. An idea I love is hosting a pre-launch event or maybe a live Q&A where potential students can ask questions and get excited about the community aspect. Give them a sneak peek of what's to come. Bonus, host it in your Circle community. Step 2. Next, you need to provide an exclusive, dedicated space for your students to connect. This is where a platform like Circle comes into play. Create a space where students can introduce themselves, share their goals, and start getting to know one another. It sets the tone early on and encourages them to participate right from the start. Having that exclusive space separate from your course content makes your community feel more special. It's where the magic happens. Step 3. Now, let's talk about keeping that engagement alive. One of the best ways to do this is by replicating the in person experience online. Live events are your secret weapon here. Host weekly calls, virtual office hours, or even co working sessions where your students can interact with you and each other in real time. This makes the learning experience feel more personal. It turns you from just a course creator into a mentor that they can actively engage with. Step 4. Here's the fun part. Get your students to create content themselves, whether it's posting about their progress, leading discussions, or even sharing their own resources. The more they contribute, the more they feel like they own the community. Let them shine. You could even spotlight a student each week and have them share what they've learned or how they've applied it. This not only boosts engagement, but also gives others ideas on how to stay motivated. And step 5, lastly, don't forget to celebrate. Recognizing your students' achievements, whether it's completing a module, showing up consistently, or hitting a major milestone, keeps the momentum going. You could create badges, throw virtual parties, or give shout outs in your weekly posts. Celebrating keeps people motivated and reminds them that progress matters. All right, friends, I've given you a lot of theory, but let's bring this all to life with a real world example. I want to share a case study of how one of my clients, Emily, doubled her course completion rates by turning her course into a thriving community. All right, let me tell you about Emily. She's the creator of an online course that helps entrepreneurs build their business plans. Her course content was spot on, super valuable, well structured, everything you'd expect from a solid program. But like many course creators, she started noticing a big problem: drop off. By the time her students reached Module 4, only about 30% of them were still actively engaged. And here's the thing: this isn't uncommon. It's something a lot of course creators struggle with. Even if the content is great, if there's no community to keep students motivated, it's easy for them to fall off the radar. And the real kicker: when students disengage mid course, they're far less likely to sign up for your next course. Why would they, when they didn't even finish the first one? This disengagement doesn't just affect the current course, it impacts your future sales and the overall trust students have in your ability to keep them engaged. So, Emily knew she needed more than just great content. She needed to build a community. So, here's what we did to turn things around. It all started with a few strategic moves that shifted her course from a static learning experience to a thriving, community driven environment. Let me walk you through the 5 steps that we took. First, Emily made a strategic move before the course even launched. She transitioned from Kajabi to Circle. This allowed her to host both her course and her community in one seamless platform, saving her a ton of money on tech costs while simplifying the whole process. By making the shift early, she created a space that was ready for students to jump into from day one. Next, she built pre launch buzz. Before the course even went live, Emily made sure her students were excited about the community aspect. She sent out teaser emails, highlighted that the community would be a core part of the course experience, and to build even more momentum, she hosted a live Q&A session on Instagram where students got a sneak peek into the community space and what they could expect. This early excitement set the tone for what was to come, getting students hyped about the connection they'd experience in the course. Once the course started, participants had access to an exclusive space in her circle community where her students could immediately connect. Emily created a space where students introduced themselves, shared their goals, and started getting to know each other. This helped get the conversations rolling from day one, and students felt more connected right from the start, not just to the content, but to each other. Then, to really replicate that in person feel, Emily introduced live engagement. So every week, she hosted office hours inside her circle community where students could ask questions in real time. She also ran virtual co working sessions where students could work on their coursework alongside each other. It added a social element that made learning more interactive and personal. But Emily didn't stop there. She encouraged her students to contribute by generating user generated content. She ran a student spotlight every week where one student shared their progress or their journey through the course. This not only inspired others, but gave students a sense of ownership within the community, making them more invested in the experience. And finally, Emily didn't forget to celebrate milestones. She built a culture of celebration within the community where students earned badges for completing modules and even hosted a virtual graduation party at the end of the course, which might have been my favorite part. These little moments of recognition kept everyone motivated and made the experience feel rewarding. So, what were the results? By the end of her 12-week course, Emily's completion rate had doubled from 30% to 65%. Her students were more engaged, contributing to discussions, attending live events, and building long term connections with each other. Not only that, but many of them went on to enroll in her next offering, and Emily received 20% more testimonials than she had in previous cohorts. This goes to show that when you create a community that fosters engagement, accountability, and support, students don't just finish the course, they thrive. So, what's the takeaway from today's episode? It's simple. Turning your course into a thriving community isn't just about keeping students engaged during the course. It's about creating an experience that makes them want to stay, contribute, and keep learning long after the final module. So, start with these 5 steps: build pre launch buzz, give your students a dedicated community space, host live events, encourage them to contribute and celebrate their wins. It doesn't have to be complicated, but it does have to be intentional. Oh, and one more thing. If you're looking for support and strategies to help you along the way, join the community lab. It's packed with like minded creators, exclusive tips, and all the tools you need to transform your course and your business. I might be biased, but I love it in there. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you're ready to start turning your course into a community, now is the time. And don't forget to check out Circle if you want a platform that makes community building a breeze. Okay, friends, until next time, keep building, keep growing, and remember, you're just one community away from transforming your course and your business.